All right, it's time now for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. And Ted, we just saw it there. The Bills were excellent on third and fourth and long situations. Josh Allen and the Bills here have something set up to beat Patriots man coverage. We've got man beater written at the top of the board, and they ran this bunch concept quite a bit to screw up when the Patriots locked on their receivers. Why did this play work out for the Bills? This is third and 10, just over 7 minutes left. J.C. Jackson drops the pick. The Patriots have a shot, but they let it slip.
All the momentum's going the Patriots' way. So get off the field on third and 10. You almost got an interception the play before. You did it, so get it on this play. At least make a play. They couldn't do it. And just like you said, the Bills did a great job of from a game plan standpoint, doing a lot of things to beat the Patriots man-to-man coverage by doing these bunch formations, okay? And so you had right here, you had Kyle Duggar on the tight end Knox. You had J.C. Jackson on Stephon Diggs. You had Miles Bryant on Isaiah McKenzie here. Instead of comboing this, they decided to play it straight up, man-to-man, and lock it. So these three guys are on these three guys. Here's the thing, all right? So at the snap of the ball, you have Stephon Diggs kind of slow releases. It takes J.C. Jackson with him in his coverage. And here you have Isaiah McKenzie kind of following behind him and really creating a tough cover for Miles Bryant, who has to go over the coverage to get to Isaiah McKenzie, who's streaking across the formation, okay? That's a long, tough cover to cover him all the way across the field. But here's the thing. They keep Dawson Knox in to block for a split second. That holds Dante Hightower's attention, so he's supposed to be in the rush. He butches him to help his on the coverage, but then he's kind of in no man's land. He doesn't recover. That gives plenty of time for Josh Allen to hit this deep over. That's a tough cover and a tough ask for Miles Bryant to cover Isaiah McKenzie, who's streaking across the formation. And Josh Allen makes a great throw to the sideline here for a gain of 17 yards. First down, keeps the drive moving. This was a concept, a bunch formation versus the Patriots man-to-man coverage. They don't combo it. They lock it. And ultimately, that was their demise. They never adjusted to these types of concepts all day long, and that was kind of a surprise for me, Phil.
Isaiah McKenzie was a headache for the Patriots all game long, and when you don't have that marriage between the pass rush and the coverage, Ted, and you give a great quarterback a little bit too much time, you're going to get torched, and the Patriots got torched on Sunday. We talked about Josh Allen through the air, but look at this. He ran for 64 yards yesterday. It's the most he's ever run for against the Patriots in 7 career games. His longest run of the day, a 25-yard scramble when the Patriots are playing man and they tried to send an extra rusher. Let's take a look in our next breakdown. All right, we're back out here for Board Games, brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains don't flow. And Ted, we have a second quarter situation here. It's first down, but it's already relatively clear that the Patriots are having a hard time generating pressure on Josh Allen. So they try to send an extra rusher from the second level. Does not go great for them. Why are we writing rush lane discipline at the top of the board for this point?
Because it was part of the game plan going in for the Patriots. You've got to be disciplined in your rush. You can't run behind the quarterback. You can't just run upfield, because then that creates lanes and space for the quarterback to evade, escape, and make plays. And that's what Josh Allen did all game long. And this one play that we're going to highlight kind of just shows exactly what the problem was in this game. So this is a 25-yard gain by the quarterback because the Patriots play a lot of man-to-man, all right? So they show cover 2 to start, and then after the snap, they rotate single high safety, and it's man across the board right here. They bring an extra rusher. You mentioned him, Juwan Bentley, okay? So here's what you got to know. Just focus in on this side and inside here the most. Is this linebacker, Kyle Van Noy, he rushes. They fake the handoff right here. The quarterback kind of reverse pivots out. So now he's gets into the coverage. You have Dante Hightower who covers him. But here's the thing, Van Noy, he beats this tackle off the line. The problem is he goes around the quarterback. And I was always told by Bo Parcells, you can never make a sack when you're behind the quarterback. So he steps up, okay? Juwan Bentley, he's coming on the blitz. But this D lineman stunts out. This D lineman stunts out. There's a massive hole right here. And so Juwan Bentley's coming in on the blitz. Instead of just rushing down the middle on the center, he takes the side. He takes this side. The center pushes him way upfield. So that gives a huge lane. So when the Dante Hightower's running back comes through and he covers him, it clears Dante Hightower out. There's a massive, massive hole right here for him to hit because these two D linemen, they stunt out. Kyle Van Noy runs behind the quarterback, and Juwan Bentley, who's on the blitz, picks a side as opposed to just taking them down the middle and then being able to disengage right or left. There's a massive hole right there. They were not disciplined on this play. It's a 25-yard gain, and it was kind of a theme throughout this whole game, Phil. Not on point when you're rushing the quarterback, and Josh Allen made him pay, man.
It felt like they tried so hard to keep him in the pocket, Ted, to not let Josh Allen beat them with his legs, and yet they didn't do it consistently enough throughout the course of the game to be able to get the Bills off the field. 0 punts for Buffalo in this game. It's the first time that's happened to a Bill Belichick coached defense ever. Let's get to our Ted-Nique here, Ted, and let's talk about that naked bootleg.
Yep.
4th and 1 situation.
Gutsy call.
Gotta have it situation. Gutsy call by Brian Daboll,
Yep.
who had a great day throughout. It included this call, one of the plays of the game. Let's talk about this one, Ted, because we need to talk about tackling, because it did feel like there were a couple plays maybe there to be made on the edge that the Patriots just couldn't make.
Yeah, exactly right. And so, Phil, you're going to be, of course, Josh Allen in the scenario, and Josh Allen does a naked boot, which means you basically leave the outside linebacker unblocked, all right? And the outside linebacker was Jamie Collins in this play, which he played it kind of decently. He just needed help from J.C. Jackson on this play. So so in this scenario, here's Phil. He's the quarterback, Josh Allen. I am J.C. Jackson on my coverage, who's got Stephon Diggs out here wide, okay? They're going to run the boot to my side, J.C. Jackson's side, where Stephon Diggs is lined up. So he fakes it right there. J.C. Jackson reads it perfectly, and he beats Stephon Diggs to the block. He's in the backfield. Josh Allen's still like 4 yards behind in the backfield. But what J.C. Jackson does at the moment of truth, he drops his head and he leaves his feet. All right? That's the kiss of death for tackling. You don't put your head down and you don't leave your feet. All right? You don't do both in the same play. And it looked like as he boots around, J.C. Jackson's coming in. He just wants to make the big play as opposed to the safe play. Just wrap him up. Come in. As he comes around, come in, throttle down, chop your feet, have a good base, and then just wrap up, okay? Wrap up and then wait for the other guys to come rally. You probably would have had a play in which you get a turnover and downs right there. You try to make the big hit. You try to maybe have a business decision, all right? Let's just make a business decision, go low on a quarterback that you don't want to take high because he's bigger than you. And that ultimately, I think, was the wrong decision, clearly. J.C. Jackson did not have his best game, Phil, and that play highlights what I'm kind of talking about.
That was one play that could have been made on the ground by J.C. Jackson. He had that near pick in the 4th quarter, Ted, that really had the potential to turn the game around. In his hands. Is this just a one-off? Is this just a bad day for a guy who's had a great year? Or is this something to worry about moving forward, that they can't make these plays in critical situations?
Well, I think it's something to moving forward, something to worry about without question. I mean, you always say, a game like this, when the quarterback has a game like he has against really good receivers, you go, Stephon Gilmore would sure look good on this team, but he's not here. The point is, I think J.C. Jackson's a damn good player, so I look at it as more of a one-off, but it was a very important game for the Patriots. And J.C. Jackson probably had his worst game of the season in the biggest game of the season for the Patriots.
The Patriots just don't have an incredibly wide margin for error.
No.
And for the Patriots to beat good football teams, whether it's the Colts or the Buffalo Bills, those are the kinds of plays you have to make to be on the right side of it by the end. Kyle Van Noy pointed it out after the game. Hey, we have to have that one, talking about that near interception by J.C. Jackson. All right, for our Ted-Nique segment right here, let's talk about some of those over routes. We just heard Devin McCourty and Bill Belichick talk about those. And to help us with this explanation, we've got Tom Giles, we've got Jackie Bruno, NBC 10. Thank you both for being with us. We are all going to be Bill's weapons. So Jackie's going to be Dawson Knox. Tom Giles is going to be Stephon Diggs. Good for you. You're a very rich man. And I'm going to be Isaiah McKenzie. Now, Ted, you're going to be Miles Bryant. And you're going to tell us how this play actually played out. The same one that we just broke down on the board, but then you're going to tell us about how the Patriots might have been able to adjust to play it a little bit differently.
Exactly. Phil, you set it up perfectly. And so the Patriots, there's two ways to play bunch formation, okay, when you have the man-to-man called. The Patriots, you can do what they did in this game, which I think caused them a lot of problems, is they decided to lock it. So the three guys, you had J.C. Jackson up in coverage here on Stephon Gilmore, locked it. So
Stephon Diggs, right?
Stephon Diggs. He's not passing off. He's got him man-to-man wherever he goes. You had Kyle Duggar lined up off the line of scrimmage, and he's got Dawson Knox, who is Jackie in this scenario. Wherever Dawson Knox goes, that's where Kyle Duggar. And in this one right here, I am Miles Bryant, and I am lined up deeper because I have Isaiah McKenzie in coverage, but I want to make sure I have some depth in my coverage because it's a bunch formation and there's a lot of traffic early in the route and you don't want to get washed up in the traffic, okay? And so I'll show you how you do it in man, and this is how the Patriots played them all game, and this is what hurt them. So this is the route combination, and man said go. All right, so Stephon Diggs kind of gets in the way here, and you have Isaiah McKenzie undercutting it, and it leaves Miles Bryant in tough coverage because now he's in trail technique. And so he can't jump over and cover him because he might beat him on the outside, but he has to get into a trail technique right here. And he has to carry him all the way across the field, which is a very difficult cover. Now, if you go back, guys, and line up, the Patriots, when I played there, and they have done this historically, they used to combo this. So it's 3 guys on these 3 guys. And so what you have is the concept of Miles Bryant, instead of just locking on Isaiah McKenzie, he has the first guy to go outside. And then Stephon Diggs, the inside guy, what you do is you have J.C. Jackson having the first up guy, and then, of course, who's playing inside leverage over here, Kyle Duggar on Dawson Knox, he has the first inside. So how this would play out if you combo it and you just pass it off is run the routes right here, guys. Hit. And so Miles Bryant has first out, Dawson Knox, Kyle Duggar has first up right there. And then right there, J.C. Jackson has the crossing route right there, okay? So you pass it off. And so instead of guys trailing, you have guys coming right to you, and you don't have to leave your position. That's the mistake the Patriots did in this game. They didn't do enough combo coverages. They locked it, and they got burned on it play after play after play.
So the combo coverage might have helped, but whether it's combo or a lock, if you don't get that pass rush on Josh Allen,
that's fair.
And you don't pressure him, he's going to carve you up no matter what. Giles, Bruno, thank you so much for being with us, guys.